Good afternoon. My name is Jason Shop. Oh. Good afternoon. My name is Jason Chavez, and I'm the chair of the Committee of the Whole. I'm going to call to order our first regular meeting of this term, knowing that today is Tuesday, January 23rd. With that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll so we can verify the presence of a quorum.
Councilmember Payne.
Present.
Wansley.
Present.
Rainville.
Present.
Vitaw.
Present.
Ellison. Is absent. Osman.
Present.
Ashman.
Present.
Jenkins. Chugtai.
Present.
Hosky.
Present.
Palmisano.
Present.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Present.
Chair Chavez.
Present.
We have 12 members present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. This is the first Committee of the Whole meeting of the term, where I'll serve as the chair with Vice Chair Chowdhury of the Committee of the Whole. The Committee of the Whole scope of authority is to exercise oversight and evaluation on all matters related to strategic goals and enterprise-wide initiatives. We receive reports, studies, and presentations not otherwise included in the jurisdiction of a different standing committee, as well as reports that are enterprise-wide in nature when no action is anticipated or required. We consider actions related to the appointments of the mayor's cabinet members and receive and review reports from standing committees prior to final action. I want to thank the members of the public who are here today or watching at home. I ask that everyone remain respectful of each other and respectful of council members as we debate this important ceasefire resolution. I know this issue is important and personal to many of you. As we debate this resolution, there will be instances where you may agree with me or not, or where you may agree or not agree with one of my colleagues. But it is important that the business is in front of us and that everyone is heard and respected in the process. My plan today is that we take up amendments of the ceasefire resolution and send this item to full council for a final vote. Colleagues, before we take up our agenda items, and without objection, I'd like to make some changes in the order of business. Given the community interest in the proposed ceasefire resolution, I'd like to take that matter up first so we can take that item with the most public interest first. I've checked with staff and other items and presentations by our city clerk, and I've spoken to him about these changes. So if there's no objection, we'll adjust our agenda and take up item number 4, which is a ceasefire resolution first. And then after that, it's my intention to take a short recess of about 15 minutes so that members can have a short break before we return to take up the remaining agenda items. Is there any objection to that? If not, the agenda will be reordered as I've described. Next, I want to outline the expectations on the procedures we will follow as we take up the first item, which is the ceasefire resolution. I recognize that there is significant community interest in this matter, and we've received a lot of feedback from the community and residents. Some that has already been included in the public record. If any council member here has correspondence on the matter that they wish to include in the public record, they should forward that to the clerks. For members of the public who are interested in submitting comments to be included in the public record, you can do that in a few ways. First, comments can always be directed in writing to your council member. You can request that your council member submit those comments for the public record. You can email your comments to the city clerk with a request to have those added to the public record. That email address is cityclerk@minneapolismn.gov. The public record on this matter will remain open until the adjournment of the council's regular meeting this coming Thursday, January 25th, after a formal vote on the full council of this final version of the resolution is adopted. Second, the full draft resolution has been posted for public access through the city's legislative information management system, which you can find at the city's website at lims.minneapolismn.gov. It's included as a link from the agenda under this meeting file number 2024-00011. The proposed resolution and a packet of proposed amendments was posted this past Friday for public access and review. Finally, I remind everyone that today's discussion is a review of the draft resolution and proposed amendments. Our actions today are not final, but are recommendations that will be submitted to the full council for its consideration and possible final action at its regular meeting this Thursday, January 25th, starting at 9:30 a.m. in this exact chamber. That meeting, like this one, will be broadcasted live and live streamed from the city's website for public access and transparency. With that, we'll proceed with the first item on the agenda. This resolution was introduced at the council's January 8th organizational meeting. It was new business not related to the organization of the city council, so it was referred to the committee for review and recommendation. I'd like to note that's how our standard legislative process works. The role of our standing committees is to review, refine, and make recommendations on proposals for consideration and formal action by the full council. As noted, we also have a packet of amendments that have been submitted by council members, which were posted on the agenda this past Friday. Those amendments with the original draft resolution were circulated to all council members this past Friday as well, so that everyone had ample opportunity to review them and come prepared to this meeting. I also want to note that this was not noticed as an item for public comment period as part of this meeting. Under our rules, public comment is not required unless the body chooses to provide that forum, and then only with appropriate advance notice as required by law. So we will not be taking public comments during this meeting. However, I've already explained several ways that the community can make comments for the public record on this matter. What I'd like to do in terms of procedures, colleagues, is proceed in a two-step manner. First, I'd like to take up the packet of proposed amendments that were previously circulated to all council members and posted on the agenda for public access this past Friday. I'll first open the floor up to any general comments about the packet of the proposed amendments, then I'll take up each of those amendments for a vote. Once we finish with those amendments, I'll open the floor to any further amendments from council members that may have not been included in the packet. After I've concluded with all of amendments, we'll take up the resolution with any of the amendments that are approved and vote that as a recommendation to submit to the full council this coming Thursday. Are there any questions about that process as I've explained it? With that, I'll pass it to Council Vice President Chuck Ty to make a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, in front of you is a resolution authored by me along with Council President Payne and Council Members Chowdhury, Chavez, and Ellison supporting a permanent ceasefire and preventing loss of human life in the Middle East. This resolution, again, has been made available to the public and to council members since Monday, January 8th, which is just over 2 weeks, and a open and transparent process to allow every council member the opportunity to offer amendments if they chose. I understand 8 of them are in front of this body. The version of the resolution that you see in front of you has highlighted the proposed amendments, so you can see what a final version would look like should all of these amendments pass. But I will move the resolution without those amendments for approval.
I'll need a second on that.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion before us. At this time, I'll bring the packet of 8 amendments that were posted with the agenda. Before we take up individual amendments, I'll open the floor to any general comments on the overall amendments. Are there any general comments about the amendments overall? Thank you. Colleagues, I'll now consider the first proposed amendment in our packet. This is an amendment offered by Councilmember Ellison and is identified as amendment number 1 in your packets. Councilmember Ellison, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Thank you, Chair Chavez. Yes, so item 1 and 2 have kind of the same explanation for the change. I'm not an attorney, but sometimes I play one on TV. And there's something called legal terms of art. And in the document, I wanted to make sure that any times we were using legal terms of art that we were citing our sources, as, you know, there's a lot of jurisdictions with that have a lot of opinions. And so what you'll see in item 1 and what you'll see in motion number 1 and in motion number 2 is a bit of context added, a bit of sources about which bodies have made what claims here. So, and I feel like this supports us in making sure that some of these things are not being said by the council, but instead backed up by whether it's Amnesty International, United Nations, Security Council, Human Rights Watch. It's just giving context to where this information or these claims are coming from. And that's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. Is there a second? We have a proper motion on the First Amendment. Is there any more discussion on this item? Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you. Either Councilmember Ellison or our city attorney, can you define for myself and the public legal art? I'm not sure what that term means.
Legal terms of art. I'm happy to give a stab at it unless I actually have a definition pulled up. Words or expressions that have, through usage by legal professionals, acquired a distinct legal meaning. And so terms like illegal, terms like collective punishment, these are legal terms of art. And I felt that they needed a little bit more context if they were going to be used in this document.
Is the word genocide a legal term of art?
That's a great question for our city attorney, and it looks like the answer is yes.
Chair Chavez, council members, I do believe that that is a legal term of art. I'm not an international law expert, however.
Thank you, City Attorney Anderson. And I know we're going to be debating that motion later down the agenda packet, so if we can just keep it to this motion, I would appreciate that. And thank you so much, Councilmember Ellison. Oh, it's just turning off and on. Oh, there it goes. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on amendment number 1.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Koski.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That's 9 ayes, 3 nays, and 1 abstention.
Thank you. That motion carries. The next amendment is also from Councilmember Ellison and is identified as amendment number 2 in your packets. Councilmember Ellison, would you introduce your amendment, please?
It says on. Okay, there we go. It's lit up green. I promise. Motion number 2 is similar to motion number 1 in that it doesn't change the substance of the original language, but it does cite sources for the uses for the terms of legal terms of art. So that's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. We have a proper motion on the second amendment. Is there any discussion? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? And members, I do have the queue up here as well that I'm checking periodically, unless it's not working. Okay, thank you. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on amendment number 2.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita. No. Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Koski.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That's 9 yeas, 3 nays. 9 yeas, 3 nays, 1 abstention.
That motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have an amendment authored by Councilmember Wansley. This is identified as amendment number 3 in your packets. Councilmember Wansley, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Yes, thank you, Chair Chavez. Just for the public record, I will read the amendment that I'm bringing forward. It is whereas according to a November 2023 United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner press release, UN experts stated many of us already raised the alarm about the risk of genocide in Gaza. We are deeply disturbed by the failure of governments to heed our call and to achieve an immediate ceasefire. We are also profoundly concerned about the support of certain governments for Israel's strategy of warfare against the besieged population of Gaza and the failure of the international system to mobilize to prevent genocide. So in light of that, I think the amendment is fairly self-explanatory, but I will share why I think it's necessary to include it in this resolution. I believe it's important to note that 2 months ago, experts in the United Nations forewarned that the siege of Gaza was risking a genocide. They also explicitly named that the support of certain governments in Israel's strategy of warfare would enable a potential genocide. And despite these clear warnings from the international community, the Biden administration went on to bypass Congress twice to send Israel hundreds of millions of dollars in weapons to support their siege of Gaza. Israel is the United States' largest recipient of military aid. This is a critical context to explain why this resolution is so important. We are in a time where our federal government is ignoring the advice of trusted international bodies, as well as experts within its own administration. The U.S. is refusing to acknowledge the impact of our military aid to Israel. The billions in military aid each year, along with providing diplomatic and political protection, implicates all American taxpayers in the violence in Gaza and the Israel state's military activities. So I will conclude my comments there and ask for a second.
Second.
We have a proper motion on the third amendment. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I'm deeply concerned about this amendment. We cannot allow this conflict that is thousands of miles away from Minneapolis to create further chasms of chaos in our city and this body. The culture of revenge and call out is dangerous and antithetical to the stated goals of peace. Last week, the city celebrated the creation of a position of poet laureate. As a poet myself, I know that words matter. After attending the event to really acknowledge and recognize the new poet laureate, a friend of mine sent a poem from a Palestinian poet that read, "I grant you refuge. With words of sacred scripture, I shield the oranges from the sting of phosphorus and the shades of cloud from the smog. I grant you refuge in knowing that the dust will clear, and they who fell in love and died together will one day laugh." That poem was written by a poet, Habiba Abu Nada. Born June 24th, 1991, they died October 20th, 2023. To be clear, they died from the bombings in Gaza. However, I believe that using those terms, those legal terms of art, further inflame our community, and therefore I can't support this amendment. Thank you.
Can I respond quickly, Councilmember?
Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you. Just for follow-up, Councilmember President, I know I read the amendments before I provided some comments, and I believe I stated the citation again, that it came from the United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner. So I just want to clarify, these are not my words. This comes from the highest international body that also stated 2 months ago that we were walking into a potential genocide. Those are factual statements made by said body. So I know you mentioned some concerns. Is there anything particular to the language? Because I did not hear anything related to the actual amendment language, or are you just stating it's not the substance of the amendment, you just don't support it in general?
I think I clearly stated I am concerned about the legal term of art, which is genocide.
If members want to speak, please get on cue, and there's not going to be back and forth conversations. Thank you. Councilmember Ellison.
Just wanted to say, and as I read this, and I know that Councilmember Wansley just stated this, so I'm affirming the point. I think that it's fair. I think it's a fair critique to say that this body is not qualified to itself level these legal terms. That is not what Councilmember Wansley has done in this amendment. She's cited a source that is, I would say, much more qualified to level these legal terms. And that's I see quotations here. I see who's being quoted. I see, which organization they work for. And that's why I think, if this were the council, who has never presided over any of these issues, leveling this claim, then I would agree. But I think because the source is cited and we understand where it's coming from and we understand where it's being quoted from, I think that this is an appropriate amendment, and I just wanted to name that.
Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call on amendment number 3.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Nay.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Koski.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
We have 8 yeas, 4 nays, and 1 abstention.
That motion carries. The next amendment is authored by Councilmember Chowdhury. This is identified as amendment number 4 in your packets. Councilmember Chowdhury, Vice Chair Chowdhury. Would you like to introduce your amendment?
Yes. Thank you, Chair Chavez. This amendment is just to reflect the current death toll of Gazans. We originally had 22,000. In this amendment, it says 24,000. I am aware as of today it is 25,000 Palestinians in Gaza who have died in this siege, and it is also updating the number of children lost from 8,500 to 10,000, and updating the date from 93 days when this resolution was first presented to 110. Today is 108. On Thursday, when it is our final council meeting on this resolution, it will be 110. I'm going to leave the amendment as is, as we do not know what the numbers will be by Thursday, January 25th. That is the amendment that's before us. I will bring another amendment at the final meeting to reflect the proper numbers to match the date.
Is there a second to Councilmember Chowdhury's amendment?
Second.
We have a proper motion and to the 4th amendment. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Chowdhury? Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I would just be remiss not to take a moment to state how devastating of a moment in time we are in, where a city council is taking up a resolution to call on its federal government to take action to call for the end of hostility. And we have to update numbers by day of lives lost. And at the center of this resolution, it is about humanity, the loss of human life, the loss of civilians, Palestinians who are being disproportionately and unjustifiably killed. And this is the center of calling for the humanity of civilian life. So I just wanted to note that for this specific motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Vice Chair Chowdhury. Councilmember Payne.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. We've been following along with this, obviously since October 7th, but this council has been following along with it formally since January 8th, and it's just the fact that we have to make this amendment is heartbreaking in itself, and just in context, and these are numbers that do fluctuate in these really terrible tragedies, but even just looking at it in comparison to the war in Ukraine, the most recent number I'm looking at, I'm on Wikipedia, so take that with what that is, but estimated at 11,000 killed in Ukraine, and that's a war that's been going on for quite a long time, and just the profound level of impact of this very brief intervention by comparison is just something that is very arresting for me.
Thank you, President Payne. Councilmember Cashman.
I agree this is the hardest amendment to vote on today, but I'm proud of this body for not looking away in these times. And, we have many Israeli and Palestinian community members who have been grieving in our communities, and it is difficult to sit with that grief. And I just want to acknowledge the community members who have been talking to me and sharing their grief over the last few weeks, and to state that I think it's right that us as humans and as a council body that we care about this issue. And so I'm grateful for the authors of this resolution for giving us an opportunity to vote for humanity today.
Thank you, Councilmember Cashman. Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on amendment number 4.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Hosky.
Abstain.
Almasano. No. Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
We have 8 yeas, 9 yeas, 3 nays, and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you. That motion carries. The next amendment is by Councilmember Ellison. This is identified as amendment number 5 in your packets. Councilmember Ellison, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Yes, this is a small change to some wording to make sure that we are still speaking the truth here while still doing our best to make sure we're within our jurisdictional boundaries. And so it says, whereas we unequivocally condemn the targeting and killing of Palestinian and Israeli civilians, which would constitute a violation of international law, as opposed to leveling it as definitively as a violation of international law, the words which would constitute have been added to make sure that we're staying within our lane here.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. Is there a second to Councilmember Ellison's amendment?
Second.
We have a proper motion on the 5th amendment. Is there any discussion? I'll ask the clerk. Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to take a roll on amendment number 5.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
Aye.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins,
Aye.
Chugtai,
Aye.
Koski,
Abstain.
Palmisano,
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury,
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That's 10 yeas, 2 nays, and 1 abstention.
That motion carries. The next amendment is from Councilmember Wansley. It's identified as amendment number 6 in your packets. Councilmember Wansley, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Yes, thank you, Chair Chavez. Once again, I will read the amendments for the public record. It states, whereas on Thursday, January 11th, 2024, and Friday, January 12th, 2024, the International Court of Justice, also known as ICJ, at The Hague, held public hearings in the case brought forward by South Africa against Israel for alleged violations of the Genocide Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide during its operations in Gaza. South Africa's application alleges that acts and omissions by Israel are genocidal in character, as they are committed with the requisite specific intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza as a part of a broader Palestinian national, racial, and ethnical group. South Africa's actions to receive provisional protections of the people of Gaza are supported by several countries and over 1,000 organizations worldwide. Since this resolution was brought forward, just as indicated in the amendment language, since it was brought forward on January 8th, there was that 2-day hearing at the International Court of Justice at The Hague, and South African lawyers laid out arguments alleging that Israel's bombardment of Gaza violates the Geneva Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crimes of Genocide. This case may go on for years, but in the short term, the court is deciding on whether to grant South Africa's request for provisional measures of protection to have Israel suspend its military operations in Gaza. Since the introduction of this case, it has garnered worldwide support. And I think it's worth noting that the significance of South Africa taking formal action in this way. The struggle against apartheid in South Africa showed the world how millions of people taking action on the local level can actually influence foreign policy towards justice and liberation. South Africa's leadership in the International Court of Justice should be a sign to all of us that it's time to get on the right side of history. And with that, I will ask for a second for the motion.
We have a proper motion on the 6th Amendment. I'll call on Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I have publicly called for a ceasefire in October, right after the events on October 7th. I have subsequently signed a letter along with many of my colleagues on this body asking for an immediate ceasefire, along with 200 other elected officials from all around the country. I serve on the board of the Human Rights Campaign, which is a human rights organization, which put out a statement about this issue. None of those things use the phrase genocide. The matter being referred to in this amendment is an application for review. That application will likely be years in court before we know any outcome. And so subsequently, I cannot support this amendment.
Thank you, Councilmember Jenkins. Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Councilmember Payne,
Aye.
Wansley,
Aye.
Rainville,
No.
Vita,
No.
Ellison,
Aye.
Osman,
Aye.
Cashman,
Aye.
Jenkins,
Nay.
Chugtai,
Aye.
Kosky.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
We have 8 yeas, 4 nays, and 1 abstention.
That motion carries. The final 2 amendments are both authored by Councilmember Ellison, and I'll take up both these items together in one item. They're not? Oh, sorry. They're one by Councilmember Ellison and one by Councilmember Wansley. I still want to take both of these together. They're technical amendments. They're identified as number 7 and number 8 on the packet. We'll just, yeah, we can do it separately. Okay, so we're on motion number 7. Councilmember Ellison, can you please introduce your amendment? We're just gonna do them one by one.
Can you hear me now? Oh, this thing is faulty. It's not me. So this is an amendment to the now therefore be it resolved clause. I think previous version said that the city of Minneapolis supports. My understanding is that the mayor is the sole spokesperson for the city. And so I've changed this to say that the city council of the city of Minneapolis supports our state and federal delegations and the Biden administration using their authority to. So that's, and then the amendment continues as follows. So that's the change and the reason why, and happy to stand for any questions, but I feel it's pretty straightforward.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. Is there a second? Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Kosky.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
We have 9 yeas, 3 nays, and 1 abstention.
That motion carries. The final amendment is authored by Councilmember Wansley, and this is identified as item amendment number 8 in your packets. Councilmember Wansley, can you please introduce your amendment?
Thank you, Chair Chavez. Again, I'll read the amendment for the record. Now be it finally resolved that the office of the city clerk provide a copy of this resolution to Minneapolis elected representatives to the Minnesota State Legislature and the Minnesota's elected representatives to the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate, Governor Walz, and the office of President Biden. So while this amendment seems small, it does come with an important change. We are passing this resolution to express our official position for a ceasefire, an end to U.S. military aid, and need to ensure that we are notifying all those with the most authority to implement those changes in our foreign policy. Governor Walz was recently appointed to the chair of the Democratic Governors Association. In this role, he will have the opportunity to engage 23 other governors on various policy issues. That means Governor Walz has the ability to influence and amplify the request of a ceasefire in a more powerful way than he did just several months ago. Also, it's worth noting that for years, organizers have been asking the state board to divest from Israel. Governor Walz is the member of the State Board of Investment, which has millions of dollars of investments in the Israeli government and defense contractors. Secondly, I added the office of President Joe Biden because he is, of course, the commander-in-chief and has the ultimate authority to end this genocide. So with that, I will conclude my comments on this amendment and ask for a second.
That motion has been moved. Is there any discussion on this amendment? See no further discussion. I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chuktai.
Aye.
Koski.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That's 9 yeas, 3 nays, 1 abstention.
That motion carries. With that, colleagues, we have completed the packet of prepared amendments. I will open the floor and ask if there are any further amendments to the resolution. Councilmember Wansley.
This is also Council Chair, just general comments on the resolution as well now that it's amended.
We'll have that after this.
Okay.
We'll still have discussion of the resolution after this. No? None? Cool. Thank you, colleagues. That completes our markup process on the resolution. I now entertain a motion to approve the resolution with all amendments already handled.
So
Okay.
moved.
Second.
And now I'll open up for final debate on the resolution as amended. Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I just want to briefly share my utmost appreciation and gratitude for the people who have worked tirelessly over the past 3 months to bring this resolution up for a vote and to have Minneapolis join the global movement that is calling for a ceasefire. October 7th was a traumatizing event for many members in our community, and the months since has been very, very difficult. And in spite of enormous grief residents are experiencing, they have mobilized and spearheaded a local grassroots movement that is part of a larger global call for justice. Every single monumental change that has happened nationally and globally started at a local level. Labor movements, civil rights protections, human rights victories such as ending apartheid in South Africa started at a local level. And I just want to affirm that everyone here is doing the right thing by taking action locally. And anyone who tells you otherwise is willfully ignoring history. Outside of our legislative duties, our job as your elected representatives is to amplify your concerns and your priorities. This responsibility becomes especially important when the people who have the power to act ignore your pleas for change. This resolution is not just symbolic, it has the power to help shift outcomes. The largest city in Minnesota specifically, taking an official position for an immediate ceasefire and against military aid to Israel sends a powerful message to our state and federal legislators. It is also a powerful show of solidarity with the people in Palestine, Israel, and all around the world who are deeply disturbed by our government's complicity in the ongoing genocide that has taken over 25,000 lives. My office has received hundreds of emails and phone calls in support of this resolution from people who believe that this is one small and simple action we must take in this struggle for shared liberation. This resolution would not have happened without the dedication of individuals and groups who have not only been organizing in solidarity with Palestine for the past few months, but for some individuals, this includes decades. So regardless of how long you have been in this movement, I want to thank every single person who has spearheaded the advocacy for this resolution. I especially want to thank the members and leaders of groups like Jewish Voices for Peace, American Muslims for Palestine, Minnesota Anti-War Committee, If Not Now, and the Council of American Islamic Relations, also known as CARE, Take Action, and the Minnesota BDS Group, and Reviving Sisterhood. These groups and many others have remained resilient in their call for accountability and an end to this genocide. Their dedication has grown week after week, and it's your leadership that will not be forgotten after this resolution passes. And I look forward to continuing to support you all in this work for global justice.
Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I want to speak a little bit about municipalities' role in global issues and also why I'm supporting the ceasefire resolution today. We in Minneapolis have a lot of community members who have been grieving over the loss of life in Israel and Palestine in the last few months. I have heard you, I have met with you, I have been listening to you, and I know that this really does affect us here. It affects those of us with Palestinian and Israeli friends and family, those who see our people's histories repeating, and those of us who are following the news and social media and seeing violence day in and day out. So we may not share geography, but this affects us locally because we care about community safety and human rights, and we are seeing our tax dollars spent on violence. The U.S. should not be supporting an environment where innocent civilians are being massacred. A person's ability to enjoy their human rights depends on other people respecting those rights. Human rights means responsibility and duties towards other people. And it's that responsibility that compels me to take a stand on this issue today and to support the ceasefire resolution. I hope that Minneapolis joins a collective of municipalities calling on our federal representatives, governor, and president to stop the violence and prevent further loss of human life. And I would like to reaffirm my commitment to upholding safety, dignity, and human rights for all community members here in Minneapolis. And as much as our local participation can affect international community members. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Cashman. Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I just want to state, again, for the record, I have previously called for a ceasefire personally as a human on this planet. I have signed on to a resolution with hundreds of other elected officials calling for a ceasefire, and I am going to support this resolution today calling for a ceasefire. I really plead with this community that we do not allow this issue to further Islamophobia, to further anti-Semitism, to inflame racism, transphobia, homophobia, to allow people to disregard immigrant rights or disabled rights. This is about human rights. And if we're proclaiming this resolution to talk about violence across the world, then we cannot allow violence in our own city to fester and further inflame these issues. And I'm hoping and praying that this resolution does not do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jenkins. Councilmember Osman.
Thank you, Chair. Excuse me, I'm a little very emotional with I do want to take the time and say what we're doing here is calling a ceasefire. I don't know if anybody would disagree stopping a war. War is a hell. Someone who has experienced war as a child, who lost family members, taking a small action that we can and calling a ceasefire is the right thing to do. Some might say we are only here for local laws, but speaking out against injustice is the right thing to do. As a father who has 5 small children, I cannot ignore last few months looking at social media and seeing children dying. Those kids doesn't deserve bombing, doesn't deserve what they are, how they're being treated. And this indiscriminatory bombing is a genocide. That's what it says in dictionary. we might have a small action to take today, but we will look back in history and we might call this as genocide, because that's what we have done. Every genocide that happened in the world, we didn't call it genocide in the first place. And this is a message to the state, the federal government, that the city of Minneapolis is not going to be quiet anymore, and is going to join the world movement calling out ceasefire in the Middle East and Palestine. So thank you, colleagues, and thank you those that are work on this resolution, and thank you for all the supporters that are out there and not being quiet when they see injustice. And this is a small step City of Minneapolis will take, but I'm hoping the goal is to stop this war. The United States government, that which is our government, we are part of the United States, will take the immediate action to call a ceasefire and stop this war very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Osman. Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Osman, for sharing your history. Our intentions of keeping peace in our community and not further dividing our impacted and heartbroken neighbors should be a top priority for this body. Instead, I fear that despite conversations begging otherwise, that we have just amended a divisive document not to come together around a statement that we all could stand behind in this moment. That's not what these amendments have tried to do. I urged us to host ways for our hurting community to come together and hear one another, not to change people's minds, but to create ways to talk to one another and to show what we can do as a city. I ask us to use art and conversation to nourish one another, as Councilmember Jenkins has tried to do today with her words from a poet. We're a council that should not level claims on foreign policy matters of which we're not experts. We cannot keep updating numbers of the loss of human life. We cannot encapsulate the horrors of this issue, nor can we be balanced about it. Peace should be our goal. We can not do a resolution and also not ignore the actual efforts for a ceasefire are going ignored by a side in this conflict. As I said in the last meeting shortly after being shouted down, did this extra time make this resolution better? Does it help represent more people in it? Does it first do no harm? Does it give voice to those grieving loved ones that were brutally murdered by a terrorist organization? It's pretty clear that we are not seeking to speak for everyone in our city. If you wanted to get around a resolution that calls for a ceasefire, we could have done that. Who wouldn't want a ceasefire? I could easily get behind a resolution for a ceasefire. That is a human right, and it's important for us all to be explicit about what this is trying to do and what it isn't. My colleagues have mentioned Hastings, Minnesota in conversations. We could have taken that statement from the Hastings City Council and probably all signed on to something similar. We could all stand together in this moment and say such a thing. But that's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to stand together in this moment with others in updating the loss of human life that is staggering. We somehow cannot call for a ceasefire if it also means calling Hamas a terrorist organization or acknowledging that there was absolute barbaric mutilation of women, children, and babies. And I cannot stand by and approve such a ceasefire resolution.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Colleagues, and to our constituents and those who are watching in the audience, my support for this resolution and the writing of the language was not something that I took lightly. It was done with a lot of intentionality, driven by far-reaching conversations across our community here in Minneapolis. I've engaged in hundreds of conversations by email, by phone, in person. And months ago, I never expected to be voting on a ceasefire resolution in the first month of my term. In that same breath, I never expected that in 2024, the United States would be at the center of participating in a humanitarian crisis in Gaza through military funding following the horrific and condemnable October 7th attacks and the capture of hostages. Now today, 108 days into the siege of Gaza, the death toll has risen to 25,000 Palestinians, as I mentioned earlier, and mentioned including over 10,000 children. Preventable diseases are spreading en masse, and as of today, 80% of those in the world who are dying of hunger are in Palestine. And what's most crushing is that there is no end in sight. I do not say this to create division. I say this to emphasize that these events have changed our world. We are changing. And we, the citizens of the United States, are a part of a global conversation that our community here at home and municipalities across the nation are impacted by and are hurting from, and that mass conflict and killing is not reducing, but instead contributing to the rise of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism that has taken hold after October 7th. In the last 108 days, I have reflected on who I am and where I come from as a decision maker and a member of this body. I am a member of the Minneapolis City Council who now has a ceasefire resolution before her. I am a representative of my community. I am a believer in transparency with the public. I believe in strong engagement with residents, and I care deeply about justice and safety. I'm a Minneapolitan and a Bengali American. My ancestral homeland is Bangladesh, and I am the granddaughter and daughter of family members who survived the injustice of war and genocide. For those who do not know, Bangladesh, after British colonial rule, was designated as East Pakistan. It faced a brutal subjugation, occupation, and mass violence by West Pakistan, funded in part by the United States through the Nixon administration. In 1971, after brutal subjugation and mass murder, Bangladesh won its war of liberation and independence, a war my grandfather fought in and was held as a prisoner of. In the face of horrific mass violence and brutal subjugation, the world, especially the United States of America, turned its back on Bangladesh. This is not a distant part of my history. For my family and the Bengali community who live in Minneapolis and around the world, it is a present scar that has been and will continue to be passed on through generations. I support this resolution because I cannot continue to bear witness to the rising death toll of innocent civilians in Gaza, the continued forced separation of hostages and prisoners held without cause and trial from their families, and choose to turn my back on a crisis like the world did to my people. I support a ceasefire and every measure to protect the humanity of Palestinian and Israeli people alike. The City Council of the City of Minneapolis, with the passage of the ceasefire resolution, cannot end this violence, but we can join our constituents in putting pressure on the Biden administration and our federal delegation to put an end to the hostilities so humanitarian recovery can occur for Palestinian people, so the hostages can be safely returned, and so lasting peace has a chance. I believe that asking our government to hold the government of Israel accountable on our behalf is our right and does not negate the right for Palestinian and Israeli people alike to have self-determination, free and safe futures. We cannot turn our back to this, and we must ask our government to speak for humanity as well. I have been asked, why is the City Council taking this up? Why is the city weighing in on foreign affairs when it should be focused on local issues? First, the City Council of the City of Minneapolis has a long history of taking up resolutions that weigh in on international affairs. Many councils predating this council have done so, and it is my hope that many after us will feel empowered to do the same. We have used resolutions as opportunities to demonstrate support, admiration, concern, and condemnation of actions and policies to be active in sharing our values. For example, the City Council authored a resolution opposing the unjust occupation and violence towards Ukraine in 2022, condemning the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Ethiopia in 2018, the divestment of city funds from Sudan due to being complicit in genocide in 2008, support for the creation of the U.S. Department of Peace and Nonviolence in 2006, and the opposition and call for de-escalation in war in Iran in 2007 and 2020. Additionally, while this resolution has garnered a lot of attention, I can assure you that it is my priority and this body's priority to create impactful policies and initiatives that directly benefit our community. I'm committed to addressing the pressing challenges in our cities, including public safety, housing, economic development, and community well-being. And community well-being is front in mind as we are speaking to this. Second, this has become local. We will now be the second city in Minnesota following the city of Hastings to pass a resolution calling for ceasefire among our federal delegation, one of over 60 localities across the nation. The people we represent in our city and the municipalities across the country are impacted by this. Whether you're U.S. citizens whose public dollars are going towards the continuation of loss of life, a Palestinian, Jewish, Muslim, Arab community member, and all of those who have called to ask our federal delegation to take action. Okay. I'll continue my remarks when I put myself back on cue.
Councilmember Rainville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This resolution, think about the time that was spent on this resolution. Time that none of us or our aides or our staff devoted to the addiction crisis, the homeless crisis, the affordable housing crisis, the climate crisis, the public safety crisis, pedestrian safety crisis. This does nothing to solve any of those issues which we were elected for. And I particularly want to thank Councilmember Jenkins for reminding us that words do matter. And these words are very divisive, and they will further divide our city. They will not heal it, which is what we need to move forward. And, Councilmember Palmisano, you were right. We could have come to agreement on a ceasefire. But the words that are in this are not agreeable to not only some of us on the council, but to members of our audience. And this is not what we should be doing. And again, I want to remind you, in the 3 weeks that that the new leadership has been paying attention to this, the addiction crisis, the homeless crisis, the affordable housing crisis, the climate crisis, that's why we were elected.
Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. Councilmember Rainville brings up some really poignant points that makes me think, we have the ability as elected officials to essentially walk and chew gum at the same time. Oftentimes, we are juggling multiple responsibilities, and I can't speak for you, but in the midst of working with hundreds of residents who've advocated for this ceasefire, that has not taken me away from meeting the needs of my residents from attending neighborhood meetings, from working on critical policies that's addressing our unsheltered homelessness crisis. I know me and my colleagues have met to discuss actions around our climate equity plan and how we're actually going to move this entire enterprise to a more equitable and just place than what it has been. So I want to also highlight it is also our core responsibilities as elected officials to juggle multiple things simultaneously. And I'm sorry if that's troubling or challenging for some of us, and I hope we can have a larger conversation with staff to figure out how we can support council members who are struggling in that area. But I want to highlight, I know every single council member has been very diligent in their responsivity to critical matters and issues that's happening in our wards and across the city, while also being responsive to something that our residents have reached out to us for months and months to take an official position on. So I at least just wanted to highlight that.
Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. Council Vice President Chuck Ty. Oh, well, I've been keeping a list on the side. Council Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Thank you, and thank you, Councilmember Wansley, for the mention of we can walk and chew gum. Like I was stating previously, the City Council has done resolutions of this nature in the past, and you will see in our final council meeting, there will be many notice of introductions of ordinances that council members of this body are bringing forward to address pressing city issues like unhoused homelessness. Like I was saying before, this issue has become local, and I have a constituent. His name is Muhammad. He's from Gaza, and he's a proud Minneapolis resident. This is one of his final reach outs that he's doing to a government entity. He has reached out to the federal government, continues to reach out to the federal government. He has reached out to the state government. His family lives in North Gaza, where he grew up, and in November he filled out a crisis intake form to set up by the State Department to help Americans and green card holders evacuate themselves and their families. Unfortunately, he has been given the news that his family in Gaza was deemed ineligible and does not fit into the categories the State Department is willing to help. He has continued to reach out over and over again to the 5th Congressional Office. They have been trying their best to help and continue to push for evacuation through the State Department. As of today, he hasn't heard his mother's voice since December 30th due to a communications blackout. His daily routine has been to check the news from the moment he wakes up through the moment he ends up falling asleep, just checking it in between. Each day he sees Facebook posts from distant cousins, neighbors, and friends mourning loved ones, many of which whom he has a relationship to. Muhammad, in my meeting with him, implored me and the city council to, quote, pass a ceasefire resolution, not only to join the other city councils around the country in adding more pressure on the Biden administration, but to stop the atrocities, but also so he does not feel alone in his own and in his family's suffering. This issue is local for him and many Palestinian and Jewish community members that have reached out to me personally asking to take this stance for ceasefire and call for humanity. So today, as a person of conscience, a Bengali American, granddaughter to my Bangladeshi grandfather, a Minneapolitan and Ward 12 council member, I support this resolution, and I thank the hundreds of constituents, community members who have reached out to make their voice heard ahead of this meeting, and the conversations that we've had on this body, and the months and months of calls and emails that we've all gotten. I personally got when I first started this past November.
Thank you, Vice Chair Chowdhury. Council Vice President Chuck Ty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start with thanking every resident who is here today, whether you are in these chambers, in the hallways, in the lobby, in the overflow room. really appreciate you being here. Whether you support this resolution or not, your perspective and presence here is important and it is valued. I am also incredibly grateful to the hundreds of residents who've contacted all council offices, and especially to the about 200 Ward 10 residents who have contacted my office directly. As your representative, it matters to me a tremendous amount to hear directly from you, hear your stories, hear your perspectives. I want to address a couple of things that have come up in discussion so far. First, that words matter. Absolutely, the words that we choose matter. As long as this resolution or discussion of it has existed, and even since a final copy of this resolution has been made available to the public, there has been an incredible amount of misinformation floating in the ether, and on sensitive issues, that is bound to happen. This issue and this resolution is no exception. So I want to talk about the words that we use in here that also matter a tremendous amount. Words like, we recognize the right to self-determination and peaceful, safe futures for both Palestinian and Israeli people. Words like, we unequivocally condemn the targeting and killing of Palestinian and Israeli civilians. Words like, we as local leaders are using our voice to stand firmly against the rise of and all acts of racially motivated violence and hate crimes perpetrated against our Jewish, Muslim, Palestinian, and Arab constituents here in Minneapolis and around the United States. Words like our support of our state and federal delegations and the Biden administration using their authority to advance a full, immediate, and permanent ceasefire, along with urgently needed humanitarian aid. Words like ensuring the release of all Israeli hostages taken by Hamas. These words matter, and are acknowledging and addressing some of the concerns that I have heard here today that I believe are important and are really valid. The next thing I want to talk about is, this is the beginning of the term. This item, I made the motion to add it to our agenda, and I did that with intention so that it would become available to the public and to other council members right away. So it would increase the number of days that council members had to draft amendments, make sure they were appropriately reviewed by the city attorney's office and by the city clerk's office, to make sure that discussions could be had among members of the council, to bring as many people along in this process as possible. These are the amendments that we received. This was the product of that process. That was longer than usual for policy resolutions. We did so that if you had specific concerns, if any member had specific concerns, they could write an amendment and bring it forward for this body's consideration. This body cannot consider amendments, consider language that was not formally brought in front of it. And so I just want those who are watching along and perhaps have concerns about certain language that wasn't included in here and why it wasn't, every member had equal opportunity to engage in this process. Next, I want to talk about what our scope of authority is, that we should be addressing a number of other crises. Absolutely agree. There is no shortage of issues that we need to be working on, that our constituents are in need of local solutions on. In the last couple of days alone, Council President Payne and I have received many emails from colleagues here about giving formal notice of introduction for ordinances at our Thursday meeting. It is very normal and very standard in the 2 years that I have served on this body for us to have, at times, hundreds of items before us for consideration. We take each one of those items very seriously. We deliberate on those. We make the best choices we can with the information that we have at the time. And of course, I would deeply regret making comments and not making mention of the fact that that the defense of humanity is a shared project. The defense of human life is a shared project. Not all people in this world, in this country, in the state, in the city have the power to stop a humanitarian crisis and the mass killing of thousands of people that has already happened and is going to continue without intervention. Very few people have the authority to do that, but every single one of us has the power, whether we hold an election certificate or not. We have the power to say something about it, to make our position known, so that decades from now, when we look back at this time as one of the darkest in our human history, in our times, that we know we did something to at least say, I don't think this is right. The defense of humanity is a shared project. Thank you.
Council Vice President Chuck Chai, Councilmember Vita.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I wasn't going to speak, but I have to after this walk and chew gum back and forth. It's not that I can't walk and chew gum, but I'm a council member who represents a already underserved ward, and I have lots and lots and lots of constituent issues to deal with every single day, from the time I wake up until the time I try to go to sleep. My commitment when I knocked on doors in Ward 4 on the north side was, I am going to do the business of the city of Minneapolis first. That is my priority. What I'm bothered by is almost all of my colleagues up here who are, making really strong statements have never asked me how to help me with what's going on in North Minneapolis. What's the priority for North Minneapolis? What can I do to support you, Councilmember Vital? Can I answer the 200 emails you just got on Monday morning? You need to borrow my staff? It just doesn't happen. I think what we have to understand is, yes, we can walk and chew gum, but we also serve very different wards with very different people in them. I'm pretty sure all of us go around talking about the needs in North Minneapolis. They are real. And there are 2 council members here that have been elected to do the work of North Minneapolis. Southside is represented strong on this council. I think we really need to think about that. I had one person in my ward reach out to me before this resolution was written up, a friend of mine who is Palestinian, who was actually stuck visiting his family. He didn't ask me to write a resolution and have the council pass it. He asked me, what do you think? Can I talk to you about this? What is your take on this? What are you willing? Will you call Amy Klobuchar? Will you call Ilhan? Will you call Tina Smith? Those were his asks. He came to visit me on Friday, and he said, he brought me a gift, and he said, can we hurry up and get this over with? This is taking so much time from our community. The Monday of the business meeting, I talked to he wasn't the president then, but I talked to Council President Payne over the weekend, and I said, can we just postpone this to the first meeting? Because I had someone found dead in a garbage can in my ward, and my phone was flooded with people wanting answers. The news just said somebody was found dead in the garbage can. Almost everyone thought it was a baby. I didn't even have answers to give them about that. And then I'm expected to have answers about this. I'm not saying I can't walk and chew gum. I'm not saying no one else can. But what I do have to do is prioritize if I'm going to chew gum first or walk first. And sometimes that rotates. Sometimes I'm chewing gum, sometimes I'm walking, sometimes I'm doing it together. I'm a person too. Like, I have other things going on outside of being a council member. So yeah, I can walk and chew gum with the best of them. I've been doing it for a long time. But I also want to make sure that the people who elected me feel supported at City Hall, because that's the goal. They don't feel supported down here. They don't feel like they have a voice. And if one thing I'm going to do while I'm here is make people feel represented, make people feel like someone is down here getting the potholes filled on behalf of Northside. If any of you have ever spoke to a Northsider, the first thing they say is, that'll never happen on the South Side. Right, Ellison? It never happened on the South Side. There's nothing I can say to someone on the North Side. I'm doing it. No, the South Side has potholes too. They don't believe it. They just don't believe it. The South Side is this magical place with smooth roads, and I mean, there's stuff going on the South Side that would never happen on the North Side. So put yourself in the position of someone who is carrying the weight of the most underserved people in our community. I think they agree with everything folks are doing, but they want to feel like the priority to me, their council member. And I get it, like, we have an influence. We do. We also have individual influences. Sometimes we got to step out in our leadership positions and do things as individuals and not call on everyone collectively. I've made lots of statements and did lots of things without my colleagues, and I'm proud of that. So I would encourage us to stop with this we can walk and chew. Absolutely, we wouldn't be here if we couldn't. But some of us have to walk and chew gum a little bit harder, a little bit faster than others, and I am that someone. Thank you.
Councilmember Ellison.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. And you know, I'm very empathetic to how all my colleagues are feeling, and folks, it is not a mystery to any of my colleagues about where I stand, and so I thank everyone for lending their voice here, but I also want to thank, you know, council members. You know, I don't want to name everybody because then you can't stop naming folks, but I do want to name Councilmember Wansley, Councilmember Chowdhury, for the leadership and the number of discussions that they've had with me. I know we all have different experiences with one another, but I recognize that really difficult work. And I do want to thank Councilmember Jenkins for naming our poet laureate, because I think that the introduction of our poet laureate and the way that she greeted us at the organizational meeting, it resonated with me too. And I think the thing that landed on me, and maybe some of the folks in the crowd who were there on the 8th will remember that before Hyde E. Erdrich delivered her first poem during the organizational meeting, she said that I greet you here as a survivor of genocide. And that just, you know, that was something that just stuck with me. She said, I greet you here as a survivor of genocide and a lover of Palestinian poetry. And so, you know, these are the things that I think are important to our communities. These are the things that resonate with us, and these are the things that make this issue a local issue. Because all of us are dealing with, as Councilmember Osmond said, all of us in some ways to very differing degrees understand what it feels like to be not only ostracized but oppressed. Even the folks that don't want us to pass this for their own reasons know what it feels like to be oppressed. This, in my opinion, is an attempt to do two things that can be very difficult, which is to assert realities on the ground while also trying to maintain this interfaith solidarity that we have had as a city, that you know, everybody on this dais, and I'm sure in this crowd have tried to maintain in their personal lives. But we can't have interfaith solidarity at the expense of the truth. It has to be with the truth. And so, you know, I wanted to read, given that Poet Laureate Erdrich's statement resonated with me, I wanted to read a small excerpt from a poem that I love from a Palestinian poet whose broader work I don't know, but I'm sure many of you do. But this one poem I've known and has resonated with me, and the poem is called "Enemy of the Sun" by Sami al-Qasim. And there's a portion here that says, you may put out the light in my eyes. You may deprive me of my mother's kiss. You may curse my father, my people. You may distort my history. You may deprive my children of a smile and of life's necessities. You may fool my friends with a borrowed face. You may build walls of hatred around me. You may glue my eyes to humiliations, O enemy of the sun, but I shall not compromise, and to the last pulse in my veins I shall resist. And I think that that is what we're trying to accomplish here in some small way is to add to that resistance of slaughter, of death, and lend a voice. And we as constituents of the federal government also have every right to lend a voice and say what we think should happen in the case of foreign policy. Not qualified to maybe level legal accusations of our own, but we are absolutely qualified to read and to make demands of our federal government. And so I want to thank everybody who came out to support this. I want to thank my colleagues for the debate, even those who didn't get to a place where I might agree. But I think that we had this debate in as good a faith as we could, and we got where we could with this. So with that, that's all I've got. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. I'll let Councilmember Jenkins go ahead. And
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I just want to leave us with just one thought, given this is, we just celebrated Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And, some of you may notice that I've been signing off all of my emails with love for the past 3 years. And Dr. King tells us who would be horrified by this war, I am sure. But he says that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can. And hatred cannot drive out hatred. Only love can. Thank you.
thank you, Councilmember Jenkins. I'd like to note for the public record that I'll be voting in favor of this resolution. As many of you know, Ward 9 is in the South Side. It's racially diverse, people speak different languages, and they are also continuously being left behind by city government and government in general. Folks in my community oftentimes have to work 2 to 3 jobs to barely make it by, and yet they want this resolution to pass today. 95% of the residents in Ward 9 that reached out to my office asked me to vote in favor of this resolution, and I will do so. And at the same time, they believe that we can do that and improve our basic city services that desperately need to be improved. I am voting in favor of this resolution, as I did when Councilman Rainville brought forward and chief authored a resolution expressing unity with the people of Ukraine. The action today is not new. In fact, it is actions that many people in this body up here today have done so in the past. We can both do work for city business and pass resolutions expressing support for our community members that desperately need help right now. Thank you, colleagues. That completes the markup process on this resolution. I now entertain a motion to approve the resolution as amended. May I have that motion, please? We have already, but yes. Clerk, may you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley.
Aye.
Rainville.
No.
Vita.
No.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
Aye.
Chugtai.
Aye.
Oski.
Abstain.
Palmisano.
No.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That's 9 yeas, 3 nays, 1 abstention.
That motion carries. The entire matter will be submitted to the full council for consideration at the regular meeting this Thursday, January 25th, beginning at 9:30 in this chamber. With that, colleagues, we'll take a 15-minute recess. We will return to complete the other agenda items at 3:13 p.m. 14, okay. The time is now 3:15 p.m. and the committee has reconvened. Following a brief recess, the clerk will call the roll to verify the presence of a quorum.
Councilmember Payne,
Present.
Wansley, Rainville, Vita, Ellison, Osman,
Present.
Cashman, Jenkins,
Present.
Chugtai. Present. Koski. Present. Palmisano.
Present.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Present.
Chair Chavez.
Present.
We have 10 members present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. Colleagues, we have 3 items that remain on our agenda today. All of these items are presented by the city clerk. Without objection, I'll recognize the clerk and ask him to cover all 3 items. Mr. Clerk.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. As you noted, my name is Casey Carr. The privilege of serving as the clerk of the City of Minneapolis, and I am here to present on those items that are listed as 1, 2, and 3 on your printed agenda, now items 2, 3, 4. Those items, as you know, are carryover matters that relate to the council's January 8th organizational meeting. At that time, the clerk was directed to follow up on all 3 of these matters, and so we're here today to address those items. And as you said, Mr. Chair, I'll begin with the first item. This is the appointments of council members to various external agencies and organizations. Council President Payne has proposed these appointments. A listing of these appointments was included in your briefing materials, accessed through the agenda. You'll note that we've also associated each of these external agencies with the council's standing committee system. So this is also included in the updated guide to council structure and operations, which I'll touch on in just a bit. There are a total of 38 agencies and organizations to which appointments are proposed. In some cases, the city has a single appointment to make. In others, there are 2 seats to be appointed, and in some cases, those seats are divided between a primary voting seat and an alternate. We've included all of that detail in the listing as part of your briefing materials. So this slide then just shows for the record the alignment between external agencies and the council's Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee on the left side of the slide, and those that are aligned with the council's Public Health and Safety Committee on the right of the slide. This slide shows the external agencies that are aligned with the council's new Climate and Infrastructure Committee, which seems to have the majority of these outside appointments to external agencies. And this slide then shows the alignment between external agencies and the council's Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee. And again, I'd emphasize that these agencies are reflected according to those committee alignments in the updated guide, which is also included in your briefing materials under Agenda Item 2. Once we have final approval from council, the clerk's office will communicate these updated appointments to all of the external agencies and organizations with which we partner. The formal action also further directs the clerk to refine and to update these assignments as and when needed throughout the coming 2-year term so that these appointments are maintained. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to address questions about this first item. Otherwise, I'll be happy to move on to the second agenda item.
There's no one on the queue, so you may move forward, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving right along. The second item relates to the revision of the council's adopted rules to reflect primarily its new committee structure. This slide reflects the placement of council's rules within the larger context of the council's policy framework. I should say the city's policy framework. The rules are adopted pursuant to authority that's given to the council under City Charter Section 4.4A1. The rules are an official act that have continuous effect, and they determine how proposals are considered and processed by the body. From the outside in, then, you can see the highest authority governs the city enterprise is federal and state laws that are applicable to municipal governments. Within that external framing, the city charter functions as the city's constitution, and it sets forth very broadly the authority, the powers, structure, and core operations of the municipal corporation that is the city of Minneapolis. Under those higher legal authorities, the council, as the city's legislative body, enacts ordinances, which are the equivalent of municipal statutes, to govern the community. The rules live within that level of policy, being incorporated into the city's codified and published ordinances. So you can see that line here on the slide. At the organizational meeting, council essentially adopted the rules in place from the prior term, but directed the city clerk to bring forward revisions necessary due to its new operating structure. So I'll briefly summarize those revisions, which are shown in the next few slides. On this slide, you can see that in Rule 3.1, it was updated to reflect the new location of our chamber in the Public Service Center for regular meetings of the City Council and its committees. This is room 350 of the Public Service Center, the new temporary chamber. Rule 3.5 was updated to reflect updated terminology and procedures for scheduling policy roundtables, formerly called study sessions. The intent here is to provide a working space and a public forum so that the council can conduct deep dive discussions on policy proposals, emerging issues and trends, as well as comparative analyses of other jurisdictions when that subject matter is not yet ripe for formal action through the standard legislative process. Rules 4.3 and 4.4 were updated to address the new committee structure, so the council's new committee structure live in those two rules. Rule 4.5 was updated then to clarify the process of creating working groups, those are temporary groups, and the fact that these short-term advisory groups automatically terminate when a final report is submitted to the city council. On this slide, you can see Rule 5 was deleted. It's in recognition that the Committee of the Whole is, during this term, a regular standing committee. Thus, there was no need for a separate rule to address the body in a special way. In previous terms, the Council Vice President automatically was the chair of that body. That's no longer the case in this term per the Council's new structure. So we've deleted Rule 5 and renumbered the remaining rules accordingly. The other changes are to resources that are included in the rules as appendices. We've updated the chart of required votes in Appendix C to reflect changes in relevant laws, and we've corrected the associated citations. And we've added a new appendix, Appendix D, which is a more complete chart of ordinary motions processed by the City Council. This appendix is intended to help guide council members in understanding the introduction and disposition of items and motions of business through the legislative process. Council Vice President Chugtai had requested that we also bring forward the updated guide to City Council structure and operations for this new term. That guide is an internal resource produced by the clerk's office and circulated to all departments. It seeks to provide more detailed descriptions about the council's standing committee system, including details about each committee's jurisdiction, the alignment between those committees and the city's administrative departments, its appointed boards and commissions, as well as external agencies to which the city council has appointments, as we've already discussed. It provides information about meeting dates and times for agenda settings, due dates for items that are submitted for the agenda, and more. The guide also includes key details about the internal aspects of the council's legislative process and how the city's departments interface with that process. We've already circulated a copy of this updated guide to all council members and all departments, but we're presenting it here as a receive and file item to make sure that it is included as part of the public record as well. Mr. Chair, that completes my presentation on the proposed rules division. Happy to address questions about that item or to proceed to the final item.
There isn't anybody in the queue, so you may proceed, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. The final item, Mr. Chair, is the list of expiring acts from the prior elected term. Under council rules, any proposals introduced but undisposed during the prior term are set to expire unless the council takes action to reintroduce and refer them in the new term. Staff have evaluated all of the proposals that were introduced and filed in LIMS, our Legislative Information Management System, during the 2022-2023 term, but which remained undisposed as of the adjournment of council on December 7th last year. In your briefing materials, we provided the list of those proposals. You can see there are a total of 22 ordinances, 4 staff directives, and 6 legislative directives on that list. So, Mr. Chair, my goal today was to present the list and request that this matter specifically be carried over one cycle so that members have an opportunity to coordinate with staff to identify which, if any, of those proposals should be reintroduced in this term. And that would mean taking no action today, but postponing this item a full cycle to the committee's regular meeting on Tuesday, February 7th, at which time then we'd hope to identify which of the matters to be reintroduced and recommend final action by the full council at its meeting on Thursday, February 9th. That completes my review of the list of expired acts. Again, happy to address anything on that particular item, Mr. Chair, or to address questions about any of the 3 items.
Council President Payne.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I believe I understand the answer to this, but I just want to clarify so that everybody in the body recognizes it. There wouldn't be any distinction between, introducing something this Thursday that was from this list and going on your current timeline, they would still get ultimately referred to a committee to begin that work on essentially the same timeline. Is that accurate?
Through the chair, Council President Payne, I think that's generally an accurate statement. The one place I would want to make sure we're all on the same page is that anything being noticed this week would already be at least one cycle potentially ahead of the next one. The next one would be introducing things and referring them at the same meeting. So it is possible that if the body were to act on a notice rather than simply taking it up at the next meeting, that it could be ahead, but it shouldn't be ahead unless the body chooses to waive that piece. So is it possible that they're not on the same timeline? Yes. More than likely they'll be on the same timeline.
And as a follow-up, that would require a unanimous vote to introduce and refer within the same committee on Thursday?
Yes, Mr. President, it would require a unanimous vote of those members present and participating.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I don't see anybody else on queue, so if you can maybe help me, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 2 and 3 and making sure that item number 4 is being postponed to the next cycle so we can vote on all 3 items at once. Need a second for that. Any discussion? Can the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Wansley. Aye. Rainville.
Aye.
Vita.
Aye.
Ellison.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Cashman.
Aye.
Jenkins.
No on 1, aye on 2 and 3.
Chugchai.
Aye.
Sorry, thank you. Koski.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
So we have 13 ayes on items 2 and 3 and 12 ayes and 1 nay on the first item.
Thank you. With that, we've completed our agenda items. Next, we'll receive reports from our other standing committees to be submitted to the full council this Thursday. We'll begin with the report of the Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee, chaired by Councilmember and Chair Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. The Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee is bringing forward 20 items for approval. Number 1 is a passage of resolution related to the election judge and deputy city clerk appointments for March 5th, 2024, presidential primary election. Number 2 is passage of resolution for the gift acceptance from Big Cities Health Coalition of travel expenses, lodging, and appropriate incidentals. Number 3 is passage of resolution related to a grant acceptance for 2023 sports registration fee for various arts programs. Number 4 is confirming various appointments to the Minneapolis Advisory Committee on People with Disabilities. Number 5 is authorizing membership agreement for the Smart Grant Collaborative organized by the Open Mobility Foundation. Number 6 is accepting bid for 29th Ave Northeast ADA pedestrian ramp improvement project. Number 7 is accepting bid for providing labor and equipment for pavement sawing. Number 8 is accepting bid for crushing rubble concrete. Number 9 is accepting bid for Target Center Arena folding chairs and storage carts. Number 10 is authorizing contracts with various vendors for investment brokerage services. Number 11 is authorizing a contract with 4RM plus ULA for George Floyd Square Community Priorities and Vision Engagement Services. Number 12 is authorizing a contract with Accenture LLP for data management technology services. Number 13 is authorizing contract amendment with Urban Elevator Service Minnesota LLC for the Convention Center Public Elevator Modernization Project. Number 14 is authorizing a contract amendment with Menger Construction Company, Inc. for the 15th Street East Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project. 15 is authorizing a contract amendment with Keystone Compensation Group, LLC for classification and compensation services. Number 16 is authorizing contract amendment with Rachel Contracting LLC for the Kmart demolition project. 17 is authorizing a contract amendment with Egan Company for the Fridley Campus Electrical Rehabilitation Construction Project. 18 is authorizing a contract amendment with Meyer Contracting, Inc. for the Signal Storm Sewer and Curb Ramp Improvement Project. Number 19 is approving a vehicle no-fault benefit claim processing authorization, Flavio Marcelo Lalacinci. And number 20 is authorizing a contract amendment with Rachel Contracting LLC for contract closeout for the Hiawatha Public Works Phase 2 demolition project. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
Doesn't seem like there's any questions. Thank you, Chair Wansley. I'll pass it on to Vice President Chuktai for the Budget Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Budget Committee is not bringing any items to the City Council for its consideration this cycle.
Thank you, Vice President. Now I'll pass it on to the Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee, chaired by Councilmember Osman.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. The Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee is bringing forward 5 items. Item 1 is approving 6 liquor license. Item 2 is approving 121 liquor license renewals. Item 3 is approving 5 gambling license. Item 4 is approving 4 Heritage Preservation Commission Council appointments. Item 5 is approving rezoning at 1828 DuPont Avenue North. I will stand for any question on those items. Thank you.
There doesn't seem to be any questions. Thank you, Councilmember Osman. I'll pass it on to the Climate and Infrastructure Committee, chaired by Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. The Climate and Infrastructure Committee is bringing forward 9 items to this Thursday's council meeting. Number 1, the Great Northern Ice Bar event permit for January 26th through 28th and January 31st through February 4th. Number 2, the agreement with Minnehaha Creek Watershed District for programmatic maintenance. Number 3, contract with Hennepin County for waste disposal services. Number 4, contract amendment to agreement with Hennepin County to offset organics tipping fees paid by the city for processing of organics collected through the organics recycling program. 5, North Transfer Station Revitalization Project Appropriation Amendment. Number 6, updates to parking and mobility services fee and rate schedule. 7, grant application to Metropolitan Council's environmental services for municipal infiltration and inflow reduction. 8, adjusted 2024 capital appropriations for Lake at Nicollet reopening project and Fremont Alley project. 9, Metropolitan Council environmental services grant for private sewer lateral repairs. I will stand for questions on these items.
There are no questions. Thank you, Chair Cashman. I'll pass it on to Vice Chair Wansley for the PHS Committee.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. The Public Health and Safety Committee is bringing forward 3 items, very small in the scope of AO. Item number 1 is accepting a reimbursement from the Minnesota Board of Firefighter Training and Education for training. Number 2 is approving appointments to the Workplace Advisory Committee. And number 3 is approving appointments to the Public Health Advisory Committee. With that, I will stand for any questions.
There are no questions. Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. With that, we concluded all business to come before the committee today. Hearing no objection, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.